and they hide it very well because they have to get in costume on a daily basis and put on for the Instagram audience or put on for their YouTube audience. But deep down, they know that they're getting further and further disconnected from who they really are or who they would like to be and who they're having to be because they're in this industry and they've become like a caricature of themselves. So for me, that wasn't something that that wasn't something that I chose to take part in. And it was powerful because back then it was a lot harder to to show people that I knew what I was doing because a lot of people just thought I was crazy. Like, man, we grew up looking up to these guys. Like, who are you to say no to them? Like, this makes no sense. But now, all these years later, when people see the level that I've been able to ascend to and people see the success, now when I take on the music industry, whether I'm talking about the labels and the power structures, the commissioners, whether I'm talking about the creators or whether I'm talking about the consumers, people know that this guy A is not clout chasing. He's already got the clout. D1 is already successful. But B, this guy is just being who he's always been. If people look back in the archives, they're like, man, you did a song in 2009 called J50 and Wheezy, to where you were talking about three of the giants in hip hop at the time. Same thing, just challenging them to be more responsible with their platform because their platform is reaching millions of our people
Yeah.
specifically. So now that I've been doing that lately, I would say that my platform is bigger than ever, and the rap game has shown that we we get angry and we get and we get like anxious when we get called out to have some accountability. And with some of these artists, it's sad, man. Like I don't think we should consider all these artists to be OGs just because they're older. We got artists now in hip hop who are almost 50 years old who are still hell bent on wanting to portray this image like they're out here selling dope, which we know they aren't, like they're out here, murdering people, which we know they aren't. And they're doing this in a way that it's just making our community look bad. So I don't call them OGs, I call them DGs. And a DG is a disappointing grown up. So that's that's
Wow.
what I call a lot of these brothers. Yeah, man. Like they just they gotta do better. They gotta do better. And in order for them to do better, I feel like we have to we have to show them that it's possible to do better. So at the same time as you can like call a behavior out, you can also say, hey, there's an alternative to that. And I'm willing to show you, but I can't show you if your pride is at the forefront of
Mm.
everything you do, so much so that you don't even acknowledge the error or the flaw in your ways. So, that's just
Mhm.
what it is. And with a lot of these guys, they they have unfortunately let the dollar bill start to run them. And we clearly see a difference. Like you got some people that are ruled by money, and you got some people that are the rulers of their money.
Well, I really like what you said about, money. You understood the power of money in a way that was very impressive. A lot of people don't get it. Money is powerful like a drug. You can use drugs to heal you and make yourself better, or you can become a drug addict, right? So, or like fire. Fire can cook your food and keep you warm, or it can burn you alive. And what I like about your approach is, and this will be my last question for you. What I like about your approach is that you talk about things like finding balance. I know you had an album called Finding Balance, right? Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. So, it's not to say, so you're not saying that money is bad. You're saying, go get your money. Money is powerful, but you have to make sure you don't sell things that are more important than money. Also, you used a really important word that we use in this room all the time. I saw some people in the chat responding. And what do y'all think that word is? What word did D use where y'all know that my ears perked up? Type it in the chat. Type that word because this is important for your kids. Options, right? So as we challenge, the artists and people that will just sell out and do anything for money, I think that it's important to acknowledge that that can come from a sense of desperation. You know, if I don't have any options, or if I don't feel like I can succeed in any other way, then maybe I will do what I got to do to get what I need. And so, so just kind of addressing that as well is important. And options aren't just things that you actually have, or money, or opportunities. Options can also be just psychological, you know, based on self-esteem. You know, if all I do is I see myself as nothing more than an artist, or see myself as nothing more than a basketball player, then me not being able to play basketball or to be an artist, it's like it's like the death of myself. You know, like my self-perception is wrapped up in that one thing. I don't have no other options. It's almost like playing basketball and you can only dribble with your right hand. And you're a great basketball player. I know that. And you know what happens when you can only dribble with one hand, you got one move, then it's easy to play defense on a player that's only got one move and can only dribble with one hand. So I think it's important, and I'd love for you to just kind of speak to this, for us to really make sure when we're talking to our kids and just sharing the message, that we teach our people to dribble with both hands and give them a lot of moves. So it says,
Mhm.
look, I'm going to make this move into the music industry or whatever I want to do, but that's not my only move. Like that's the thing that I respect about you, is that you're not just good at rapping. I mean, y'all got to check D out. D went on to what was that yeah, it was Sway in the Morning, and he did a freestyle that was so great. So he is a great artist, but D is also a great man. You know, which means that brilliance he uses for art, it's applied to business, it's applied to you know, things that he does in the community, things he does in the world. You know, so he's teaching at a university now. So talk about that a little bit in terms of just any piece that that I said, because I know you've probably got something to respond to on that. Just address any piece of that you feel comfortable with.
Of course. So the beauty is when you know your purpose. When you know your purpose, then you can look at your skill set and you can ask yourself, how can I maximize this skill set to best fulfill my purpose? What I've seen oftentimes in hip hop is, I use this analogy quite a bit. My first name is David, so I reference the story of David and Goliath, right, from the Bible. And we all know that David was like the underdog, and he ended up defeating Goliath, this this giant. And the thing is, David defeated Goliath because he knew what his special gift was, which was his slingshot. So I tell people, and I have a whole album called Slingshot David, because it's basically saying we all have our slingshot, but the goal is to just find what your unique slingshot is and use it for the purpose it was designed for. When you're able to do that, that's something that empowers you to where you can defeat the Goliaths in your life. And that is something to where I see a lot of people in hip hop, and they don't even respect the art form. They simply look at it as a hustle. So if you look at anything as just a hustle, a means to make money, then you will break the rules